Harry Maguire looks like he's on his way to West Ham. A deal has been agreed between Manchester United and West Ham United. £30 million is the fee that has been quoted, and we know he's not getting into that United team anytime soon. And if he wants to remain in the English squad, he has to seek playing time elsewhere. West Ham looks like maybe he might do better with the pressure off at a team like West Ham.
And it's smart from United's side as well, accepting 35 million. The fee quoted at first was 50 million. But again, I do feel the club and the player have actually sat down, seen reason why he needs to make that move right now. And for 30 million, it's not a bad move at all. Hopefully, Maguire will be able to galvanize his football, his skills and what have you. I think the pressure at United has really affected him so much. And like I'd always say, a whole lot of United fans have not been fair to Maguire. Even when he hasn't done anything wrong, he just gets picked on unnecessarily. But nice one, and I'm wishing him all the best.
All right, let's go to the saga of the summer, Harry Kane. Again, we're getting mixed messages. Yesterday, we heard that Kane was increasingly looking likely to stay at the club. Now this morning we hear that Bayern might come in with a bid of £94 million, 110 million euros, and Spurs might be inclined to accept that one. And we also hear them looking increasingly likely to increasingly resigned to losing Harry Kane this summer. We also hear that they have started looking at other options if Harry Kane leaves. Our own what's his name now? Our own 𝐜𝐻𝐈𝐑𝐀 is somebody on the list. Yes, 𝐜𝐻𝐈𝐑𝐀 is somebody on the list that Spurs are looking for. Mediterranean is somebody on the list as well. So Triple A, it seems like if we're getting gist from the Spurs camp that they are already considering other options, maybe something has shifted in the Spurs department.
Well, one thing I can say for sure is one thing that we know, and that is Spurs. They rejected the last bid from Bayern for Harry Kane. I beg your pardon. So now for Kane, the player wants to know where he will be playing next season. Yep. The Premier League starts this Friday. He wants to know. The transfer market, of course, is still on till September 1st. So for Spurs, they know that at some point, I mean, if Bayern are preparing £94 million, about 110 million euros, yes, they can as well just make it 100. Or Spurs can as well just ignore the wait till they make it just complete 100 million.
Look, I think it would be silly of Spurs. I mean, come on, the man they've given Spurs the respect that they deserve. I think they've given the player the respect that he deserves given his quality. There's nowhere else in this life you pay 94 million or 96 million for a player that has 1 year left on his contract. Spurs should just take it and go.
Come on, Arsenal played the 105.
He didn't have 1 year left on his contract. He had the option of another year. So that's 2 years.
Bayern should also respect Tottenham Hotspurs.
That's why they bought 96.
Makes the valuation of the player.
Now, see,
they're not buying tomatoes in the market now.
Anyway, let's leave it there. Let's go on a break. Actually, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Let's just quickly move on to because we're working with time. Actually, you want to say something very quickly?
Yes. Looking at the options, whether they sell Kane, Jeremy is a good option. 𝐜𝐻𝐈𝐑𝐀 is a good option from the Nigerian angle, but he doesn't have the experience of the Premier League. Although he did not need experience to settle in the Belgian Pro League. Now, I hope that Tottenham will use this money judiciously if they eventually sell, because when they lost Gareth Bale, don't forget they brought in Soldado, brought in a couple of players that
really didn't do anything.
You
and the rest of them.
So they did not recruit well after selling a major key player before Harry Kane had to come through the ranks. So I hope they don't make the same mistakes again.
All right, we shall see. Let's also tell you that Arsenal have agreed a deal with Brentford for David Raya. That's £30 million. And also, let's tell you what's happening at Wolves, buddy. It's a lot of nonsense at the start of the season.
Quite a lot going on.
The manager, 𝐻𝐭𝐚𝐲 𝐿opetegui, has left, and they're considering Gary O'Neill to replace him. Now, they did not sack Julian Lopetegui. They wanted him to continue as manager, but he felt like they're not a serious club. A lot of players have left. There's no investment coming into the club. When was the last time they signed a quality player? And he looked at all of this and decided, nope, I can't cope with this, and decided to move on. And it's a rough thing to happen to you on the eve of the new season.
And let's not forget, I think it was during the season last time out when they did threaten to leave the club because of lack of support. Yep. And this summer they haven't brought in anyone, and they've sold a number of players. So I think Gary O'Neill, if he's approached, he needs to think about it properly. He will tell you, he's worked with clubs that had a very small budget. I beg you. sometimes when you're fighting for survival, it's different. It's like fighting for your life. But I'm really kind of disappointed in Wolverhampton. You know, you've made some good sales. Then bring in players, you know, support the manager. But at the end of the day, by the time we're discussing relegation,
that's tomorrow.
Options tomorrow.
Oh, who's are in it now?
They are.
They are in it now.
They are actually.
That squad looks very, very horrible.
Guess what? There's supposed to be a presser tomorrow ahead of the start of the Premier League season.
Anyway, a message here. Someone from Studio says it's surprising that Man United could get that much from the sale of Maguire. I'm sick of hearing Harry Kane every day in the transfer news. They should get this done and sorted. If Lopetegui is this gutted, what should Jurgen Klopp do? Jurgen Klopp doesn't have it as bad as Lopetegui. Let's not even go there. Lopetegui is like I don't even know how to put it. It's like a pauper compared to Jurgen Klopp. There's nothing.
In fairness, Klopp has actually gotten the targets.
Yes.
In fairness.
Yes. So I don't think it's not the same. Lopetegui, they've done him dirty at Wolves since he's been there. They've really done him dirty, actually. I mean, they went to bring an old man. What's his name now? J.O. Costa. I mean, come on.
And guess what? It's not just about Lopetegui leaving. He also left with his 6-man backroom staff.
Of course, they won't be there now.
They all left with him. So it means that as it stands, the Wolverhampton Wanderers will need to put together.
That will come with people.
Baba don't get jobs somewhere.
He's with Saudi. It doesn't matter.
Not everybody will be like Osipese.
Exactly. A message here though from Pius who says, I hope Spurs acquire a better player to replace Kane. Wolves are ready for relegation this season. Happy weekend, Anthony. The weekend Spurs cruise. Join us for that one actually. Saturday and Sunday. And he says, stay safe. You too. All right. So let's quickly breeze through our previews. Let's go to European contenders. Triple, let me start with you. There were lots of surprises last season, of course. Newcastle getting into the Champions League and all of that. But yeah, I was going there actually. In terms of Europa League and Conference League, some teams we're not checking for got into Europe last season. Are there any? What are the teams you're looking at this term that you think have it in them to contend? Even if you don't get it at the end of the day, but they can contend for a European place and maybe possibly get it at the end of the day.
I think I'm going to look at Aston Villa because of the kind of manager they have. Unai Emery, a seasoned manager, he knows his way through the UEFA Europa League and the UEFA Conference League, and he's won the Europa League multiple times. So I'm going to look at Aston Villa. They are my top choice. They've recruited very, very strongly as well. I'm not sure Brighton will be able to survive next season, qualifying for European places, because we saw what happened to West Ham just last season. They almost battled. In fact, they battled relegation for some point in the season before they were eventually able to sustain their stay in the Premier League, and they also got to the final of the Conference League. So they could not manage the two competitions together. These competitions are believed to be even tougher than the UEFA Champions League. So I'm not going to put Brighton in there. I'm going to look at Aston Villa, my top choice. I'm going to look at Fulham. I expect Fulham to do better than what they did, and the surprise team of them all has to be Brentford for me. They were very close last season. I think they'll go on better this season.
But what do you think?
Like Triple did say, what was the first team again?
Aston Villa.
Yeah, Aston Villa, yeah. We did see the magic Unai Emery did with that team last season. But again, the question is how the World Cup being on the continent this weekend. It's very, very difficult, and that is why I worry for teams like Newcastle as well. But again, we can't look beyond the likes of Aston Villa. Also, Newcastle should be in that mix. If not the Champions League, I do feel this time around, possibly Europa and Brighton. As much as they did well last season, yes, second season bounce or syndrome after a good season might kick in. But again, with the work the manager is doing at that club, I'm looking towards them, making it to Europe as well.
West Ham, no? They have Europa League to deal with.
Yes,
well.
they
could not manage it last season.
Yes, they do, but again, they haven't really recruited.
We said this thing last season. We said that West Ham squad was too good to be battling relegation. But I still believe that.
They've let some players go. The likes of Lanzini,
Declan
Rice, yes. Lanzini was not really in it.
Big omission. See, for what he offers them, leadership and also his ability.
Yeah, but I think again, are they really not too good to be battling relegation?
I mean, I'm not saying they will battle relegation now. What I'm saying is they will not. I don't think they will be able. They will have enough to challenge the Europa League and also challenge for the top 7 in the Premier League.
Very quickly.
My major problem with West Ham is they've not really addressed. Yes, they're bringing in Maguire. He still needs to set into that team, but defensively, especially the central defense area,
Maguire,
they haven't sorted it out.
Did you enjoy this video? Hit the subscribe button for more. Leave a comment and like. Thank you.